Greece started like scuttling ships and just kicking them off.
They built a wall.
They would.
They also built a wall. It's very good.
Built a wall. Came out. Yeah. That's a funny thing too. I remember when I went to Sweden and I went to Europe for the refugee crisis. Donald Trump was like, "We're going to build a wall. It's going to be the greatest wall," and people kept saying walls won't work because people will fly over. And then I'm like, a 3-meter chain link fence reduced immigration into, I can't remember which country, by like 90%. And the reason was the families couldn't go over. Like the father probably could, but the mom and the kids couldn't climb the fence, so they'd go around.
Well, and
so just literally just a chain link fence.
Well, walls also work when you man them. You know, I mean, if somebody can throw a ladder up and put it over, and then everybody can climb over. Yes, but if you've got,
a moat with alligators.
Well, I mean, you've got Hadrian's Wall. I mean, this is a system that worked for a long time. You've got the Great Wall of China. Their walls do work, but they require staffing.
Yeah.
And you have to say sorry. No. Will it stop everybody? No. But look at the border we got with Canada. We got the 3,000-mile unprotected border. So yes, if people want to go into Canada lets pre-COVID, Canada let anybody in. Now Canada is also a insane asylum that just restricts every right you could possibly ever think you had. So pretty soon, I guess we're going to start getting refugees from Canada in the United States, so we'll have to worry about that border too.
So this is, I didn't see this story. Check it out from Reuters, August 21st. Greece completes border wall extension to deter potential Afghan migrants.
Yep. Oh, wow.
And there it is. I mean, that's a hefty wall. Looks like it's got barbed wire on it.
Notice it looks better built than ours.
Yeah, what's up with that? It's a boundary with Turkey. It is bollard fencing. It's very, very similar, but it does look better. Like ours look rusty. What was up with that, Well, they built it with rust?
Well, also then you have to remember, you wonder if when the Greeks build that wall, if they're also thinking about the fact that they tend to maybe go to war with the Turks. Like, okay, is this just one more sort of discouragement to the Turks roaming in and attacking them, because they still divide Cyprus.
It's like the global order is collapsing. It's not just the United States. It's all of this international trade. When we were hearing China was turning back ships from American companies because they wanted to keep the equipment with the PPE and stuff like that. Just the whole system is like
what's that? The
collapsing.
center cannot hold thing. I mean, we've all four of us lived in unprecedented times. We're still benefiting from the post-war boom from World War II. World War II blew up the manufacturing and the cities of pretty much almost every civilized nation. And coming out of it, United States, we didn't do it. So we built tons of factories, and then soldiers came back. We had this manufacturing base, and we're very difficult to invade, at least as a military, because where we're located.
And we're armored to the teeth.
Yeah. And so we're sort of basking in that. But times change. Technology, when the internet got invented, Fortress America went away. Because suddenly Russia, China, and Iran, anybody else who wanted to involve themselves in America could do so every single day. They could do it on the internet, and social media made it worse. It's not that's talking about, Russia. I'm talking about RT. I'm talking about, Chinese media. Chinese have, Facebook won't allow itself to be based in China. Oh, we're not going to go in China. They got the great China, the great firewall of China. But meanwhile, Chinese media companies have 751 million followers on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
751 million followers, and pushing out pro-China propaganda. I don't see Facebook kicking them off. Yep. I don't see them restricting, because they don't dare mess with China, and not to mention the fact, of course, the money they're getting from the ad placement on those 751 million, users.
Yeah. I was looking at Facebook followers, man, and these politicians will have like 600,000 followers, 300,000 followers, people I've never really even heard of or just starting to hear of. That could be a good thing that they're becoming famous, but they're not really that special of people. Like they don't strike me as like exceptionally talented or intelligent. Maybe intelligent, but they put them, so they ran for that position. They won the popularity contest, and now they're super, like 27-year-old people have hundreds of thousands of followers that will never leave. Like for the rest of their life, those people know who they are. And it's disturbing. It's disturbing that a politician might make a life out of it. That is not tenable.
We live in a narcissistic culture, and we've exported it now to the whole world.
To sell out your ethics to get reelected is like, it brought us to where we're at right now, I think.
Well, it's not just reelected; it's get famous. I mean, it's what happened with Swalwell. You know, okay, if you're not an especially famous congressman, and some hot young girl wants to, I'll use the air quotes again, euphemistically date you. And, alarm bells should go off in your head if she's super hot and Chinese. Somehow it should occur to you.
You see it all the time. The frumpy weird kid, and he's just trying to be cool and fit in, and then all of a sudden this attractive woman, and he falls right for it. Oldest story in the book. Turns out she's a Chinese spy the whole time.
Yeah.
Horatio Sands was going through that. His statement was like, when I was a kid, I was super unpopular and girls never liked me. And now he's super famous and he's got all these like 17-year-olds coming up to him and crawling all over him at bars. He was a creepy weirdo when he was young, and he's an even creepier weirdo when he's older. Love you, Horatio. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about that guy. And I don't know if he was the one that said that. I think Chris D'Elia had said that like when I was a kid, I had no. And so and now he's older and he's like
telling people
high school girls are talking to him for the first time.
But telling people you were a creepy weirdo when you were young doesn't excuse you.
No,
from being
it's
like
disgusting. But now you understand why they're crazy like that.
Well,
why would a famous
ordinary people don't have the opportunities to take advantage or be taken advantage of the way famous people do? I mean, look at athletes. Athletes, the second they're identified in pee-wee sports, you're a, oh my God, you can throw the ball. Oh my God, you can run fast. You can hit the ball. Their lives change. Everybody tells them they're great. Grade schools, high schools, college, bend over backwards. The stars of our pro sports, even the secondary or tertiary players in our pro sports, were people who were stars every step along the way in their lives. Ravens right now have a backup quarterback who actually beat Lamar Jackson, the starting quarterback, when they're in high school together. And so now he's a backup quarterback in the NFL. Maybe he's the second quarterback. And he's always been a star. When that happens, you get, you'll have women throw themselves at you, or men, depending on who you are. Financial opportunities. Everybody thinks everything you say and do is perfect. This is what happens to politicians. Politicians get used to yes people. Nobody. One of the worst problems of DC is nobody will tell we tell the boss, hey boss, that's a really stupid idea. And so it becomes a culture. Every time I hire people, I have to sit down and try to explain to them, yes, you're allowed to tell me I'm wrong. Matter of fact, you're encouraged to do it because sometimes I'm an idiot.
That's a good point, because we hire them, but then they hire a bunch of yes men to surround them as they do their job, like their staff, these politicians.
Yes.
Or they're politicians because yes men surround them and tell them to run. You know what it is? I was reading that celebrities tend to be narcissists, because narcissists tend to be the people who insert themselves. And so when it's no surprise the people who are on TV all the time are the people who demanded to be on TV because they think they're better than you. You get a bunch of narcissists and sociopaths. Same thing is true of politicians. There's the people who are like, I must run because only I can save the people. It's like, you're a nut job.
Well, but I mean,
how do you find real leadership as a challenge?
I mean, that's all people in Washington. I had a former girlfriend of mine tell me one time, she's like, well, you don't have a big ego. I said, you're just grading on a curve. It's just DC, man. You're working on Capitol Hill. Everybody in DC's got a huge ego just by comparison.
Yeah, if we could find a way to use ego for an energy source, we'd be DC would power the universe.
Yeah.
Is it piezoelectricity? Measuring the vibration of the brain waves and creating electrostatic charge.
Ego.
Wait. I was going to say brain waves in DC. I think you definitely we'd be able to power a flashlight.
Yeah.
That's being generous.
Did
An
you work-
LED flashlight. How about that?
Did you work like in the DC machine?
I've worked prior to working for Media Critics, I was in media. I worked at a couple of daily papers. I worked for Chronicle Higher Education, Congressional Quarterly. I've always worked in media or in some form, or now criticizing media.
Do you think this is something we've come up with, is that they say politics is downstream from culture? I think culture is downstream from technology. Do you see any possibility that this system could be solved politically?
Well, the problem is political will comes from people, which is back to culture. And, that's, so, I mean, it's all synergistic. I mean, you can't just take one piece out. Donald Trump was a great example of how a combination of technology and culture, people just wanting change. I know a lot of Bernie Sanders people voting for Donald Trump. People were frustrated with the powers that be. You think people were frustrated with the powers that be when they voted for Donald Trump? You get 3.5 more years of what's been going on the last 7 months, and they'll be willing to vote for the ice cream salesman down the street.
Let's say establishment politics we will call Substance X. And Substance X has been pouring out of all of our faucets and our vents and our TVs.
It's the blob.
And then, it's just sludge. And then what happens is Trump comes along and he's like, I'm going to fix it all. It'll go away. I'm the best. No more Substance X. And people are like, I will take whatever I can get. But what happens is he plugs it up. It starts backing up in the pipes. And now Biden is like ultra concentrated Substance X. It's like it builds up and then Trump holds it back for a few years and then boom, it comes out and you get everything that people hated about establishment politics going back for decades. Biden is and with along with the media, like a hyper concentrated version of it.
Well, it's not just Biden. It's particularly it's along with the media. I mean,
right.
Whether how much Biden is doing this self, it's certainly the establishment that's running DC right now is, the back to the woke politics, the woke, stuff in school, critical race theory, which is racism. All of this stuff is so overwhelming now that it's intended to overwhelm you. It's intended to make you lose hope. It's intended to make you give up and just accept it. We're living through a cultural revolution. So yes, culture. So all that stuff is still downstream from culture, but the difference is culture is now hyper-powered with technology that it's never seen before. China is doing a good job of mastering it, or at least riding the Fenris wolf, and not having it eat them. Boy, that would be my dorkiest reference for the evening.
I think a lot about deepfakes because we're coming up on neural net and deepfakes, and like when we see a deepfake video of a guy getting his head cut off by a deepfake ISIS guy and a deepfake American, and we think it's real, and it might be a real fake person's face on, and then the country goes to war because of some deepfaked false flag.
Running Man, the map where they map the guy and they kill Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they just they map somebody's Arnold's face on somebody else. That's what deep fakes. And who's most scared of it? Politicians. Because they're afraid for the late hit where it shows politician X or Substance X in a porno.
Yeah. Someone tried making I remember there's a viral video of like the P tape, and they're like, it was clearly staged and fake with an awkward camera angle, but it's not even necessarily deep fakes. It's when how they do the what is it called when they make the that is a deep fake, I guess, when they just make a fake person. It's not a real person.
Yeah.
The face doesn't exist. It's like
yeah.
So it's not like they'll take Ian's face and put it on your body. It's like they literally will artificially generate a face that is of no person that's real.
Yeah, we got there's sites that now create just build your own avatar.
Do you guys remember when they made the Joe Rogan simulator, where you could type in words and then it was Joe Rogan saying them?
Oh, nice.
And it was near perfect. Yeah, and so they ended up taking it down, I guess.
Yeah.
Joe's like it's a little.
I don't know if Joe came out
guys.
against it, but like they can do that.
They took
to
it down.
anyone.
Like,
the guys who made it.
It was too creepy or something.
They were making videos of Joe saying crazy stuff to prove a point, and it's like, that's messed up, dude.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, so they can. Somebody posted a video just this week where it was from Canada, and it was a woman saying that ISIS are brothers, and I raised questions because it didn't lip sync out. And I still don't know. I haven't seen it that where it becomes proof that it was phony, so maybe it's legit, but it didn't look, if you watch the video, very clearly she's enunciating every syllable correctly, and she gets to brothers and there's like a little blip and then it doesn't look right, and I'm thinking, is this phony? So I mean, I even tweeted at people and I saw several people raising the question.
Why haven't we seen more of this? Like, why haven't we seen, AOC or Trump or Biden or Harris?
Oh, it is coming.
Yeah, he's right. It's coming.
Well, yeah. I mean,
coming,
imagine what Iran or Russia could do. Putting out a video of Biden, and it's just like deep faked in audio, and it's Biden saying something, and they wouldn't make it crazy like him saying something like a racial slur. It would be him saying something like, yeah, well, what was I supposed to do about these Marines anyway? You know what? We got more.
Or
like
literally saying F them. Just from a little. Here's a tape but the deep state.
But see, you can't just do that because it's too. People will be like F him. Like, there's no way Biden would say that. His son died of cancer and served.
But I think a lot of politicians would say that.
People would believe it. But I think if we saw a psyop, it wouldn't be that direct. It would be something like, yeah, well, we're sad to lose him, but we got more.
Well, remember this, we're living in the psyop, and I don't mean like some sort of phony artificial thing. The whole goal of foreign governments is to put us against each other.
Yeah.
And we're living that every day. And I mean, the us them thing, we live the us them thing, and I'm probably, a good part of that, fighting that. But if you look, every single major issue now that's fought on Twitter, you run into the bot armies. And the bot armies make it look like, there's a lot of support for this thing. That no one cares.
They're not necessarily bots. They're sock puppets.
Yeah, sock puppet. But phony accounts or small accounts, and
that's why you don't read replies. Don't read comments.
It's why I look for real people.
It's one guy. Like when you read your comments, and you have like 10 comments where they're like, "You're ugly, you're fat, you're a loser." It's one guy.
It's God speaking to you through whatever.
No. What's funny is when you delete the one and another one just picks up right where the one left off. Like, of course, it's the same person. They think you don't.
Or when they accidentally use their socks without realizing it. They forgot to switch their account over.
Yeah, this is another 0 follower June 2021 account.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, politicians and business people don't understand this.
Yep.
Flat out don't. So when Tennessee went to constitutional carry for guns, God bless them, I saw some people responding to the governor saying, "Oh, thank you very much. This is great. We want." Next thing, the parade of the counts, and you could tell some people who were on there didn't get what was happening, and that's truly unsophisticated. I mean, that's garbage, entry level, political maneuvering. The Democrats have a couple bot armies or sock account armies. Russia has at least one or two. China has one. Iran doesn't, shockingly, and they don't even understand you can block people. So they're very unsophisticated. But we've now discovered the Taliban is so sophisticated that even the media are speculating that they've hired a PR firm. This affects our politics every single day, and it's designed from foreign governments and even people in our country to pit us against one another.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.